Infamous for the last 50 years for deforestation and environmental destruction, the Brazilian rainforest is now attracting investors who are convinced money really can grow on trees. Teak is one of the most highly priced commodities in the world, and two London entrepreneurs are offering British investors the chance to own their own slice of a Brazilian teak forest.
When the property market started to crumble, we decided to burn the boat, so to speak, and look at other opportunities. And our background is obviously buying property, but buying land with and without planning permission. So we wanted to go into the area of land. So we started looking at emerging markets, predominantly in Brazil, which is part of the BRIC, Brazil, Russia, India and China. And what we found that a lot of landowners not only had the land for property, but had the land for teak farms and forestation and agricultural land. So we started to do a lot of research into this, and we found that a lot of hedge funds was buying land in Brazil, but not for property. They was buying the land in Brazil for forestation and reforestation and agricultural land. So with hedge funds, it's hard for a layman man like myself to get in bed with them. So we wanted to provide a product, offering it to the retail market and also small companies and high net individuals to actually take advantage of this fantastic opportunity. Now, moreover than that, we realised that teak in particular has been a growing commodity close to oil and gold, and has been outperforming all other commodities secretly for the past 100 years. Say for example an individual purchases 100 trees. For those 100 trees to grow to its full potential, over the 25 years we go through a process called thinning. It's like harvesting. So we harvest 20% of the trees, which is sold onto the open market, which then in return pays a dividend to the individual.
Initially, in the beginning, it was, there's obviously, the scare factor of, working abroad in, a country where English is not the first language. But Andrew and myself, we did our due diligence and we aligned ourselves with trustworthy and credible individuals who are actually now part of our team over in Brazil. So initially, we had to look at various, different pieces of land. We had to have our lawyer or solicitors over there make sure that the title deeds were okay, they were fully unencumbered, and we had to make sure that we crossed our T's and dotted our I's. And the first piece of land that we actually purchased was just for Andrew and myself, so we could actually see how the process would work. We owned it for 2 years, and we recently sold it at the beginning of this year, and we've just purchased 100 hectares in a state called Belém. And on that plantation we have 8-year-old teak trees, and we employ a local team. They now work for our company Seguros Meas over there. It stands for Safe Hands Management, and we provide employment for about 20 individuals. So these are people who before may have been were unemployed, and we've now given them an opportunity, and we've provided an environment for them to actually sleep over, and we provided hospitality facilities for them.
You're both entrepreneurs. How important is it also to, be doing something for the environment, to be, part of a kind of sustainable drive?
I'll be honest with you. In the beginning, as you said, myself and Andrew were entrepreneurs. We were just looking at the money aspect of it, because as Andrew said, a lot of hedge funds were venturing into that area. But when we went over there, I have a 7-year-old son, and one thing that really touched me was we was at the airport, and there were these kids who were roughly the same age as my son, and they were polishing people's shoes for money. And we realised that by what we were doing with GFI, or what we was embarking on doing with GFI, would actually help the locals. There's so many people that need work out there, and their living conditions, to us, are not that great. So we then realised by setting up GFI over there and giving these people an opportunity that would be helping the community greatly.
At the moment, we're actually creating a school and accommodation for the farmers and the local farmers' families, and which is obviously close to our heart, because obviously we come from a property background. So it was a natural transition for us to actually arrange accommodation for the local farmers and their families. And in addition to that, we're providing a performing arts school for the young kids and bringing out the natural talent within them.
And what's the future? Do you think there's going to be literally a growth in this kind of investment overseas and in these kind of forest projects?
I mean, the actual ethical investment is, definitely the future. I mean, for a number of reasons. Number one, it's sustainable. Number two, it's not a volatile investment. I mean, as Andrew said, the stock market goes up and down. Trees go in one direction, and that's up. And, it's funny, people say money doesn't grow on trees, but it does, because each time a tree is thinned, that's a tangible asset. It's actually worth something. I mean, next time you go into B&Q, you have a look in the wood flooring section. I mean, I'm sure that you'll see it costs roughly about £60 to £70 per square metre. I mean, to actually obtain that from a tree, that's only a small portion of the tree. I mean, the everyday person would walk past this and probably wouldn't even think about it, but this is actually a byproduct of what we do. And I mean, on top of that, not only teak, there are other investments which can be used for biofuels, such as jatropha and various other things. So yes, it's definitely the future.